welcome to our video again, and we are the group 2. So for today's video, I will be explaining to you what is tax versus debt. So first, I will be defining what is tax and debt. So when we say tax is usually the money that the people pay to the government. So these payments will be used to provide services such as education, healthcare services, and many more. So when we say debt is usually a money that we borrow to someone. So it involves a one party to another party, since we borrowed a money to someone else, to our friends, to our relatives, to our co-workers, to our colleagues, like that. So when we say tax versus debt, a tax is based on law, while debt may be based on contract. So we all know that we are obliged to pay the tax, since it is written on the rules, or it is one of the rules that we must abide. So that is based on contract, since you both agreed or you have an agreement with that person. Okay? So next would be a tax may not be assignable, but debt is assignable. The third one, tax is generally payable in cash, while debt is also payable in cash but also in kind. So we all know, or we understand that tax may be payable in cash, of course, while debt is also payable in cash, of course, but it also be payable in kind. So it depends on the person who owned you, or who owned a money to you, that it depends on her consign. Correct? Okay. So if he have the dignity to okay, I will pay this person, like that. So next would be a person may be imprisoned for not paying the tax, but a person may not be imprisoned for not paying the debt. So as aforementioned, or as mentioned earlier, tax is based on law, which means we must really abide this one, or else we may face the circumstances for not following the rules. So when we say we are not, or we may not be in prison if we will not pay the debt, since it depends, kasi it depends. So that's it. Thank you for watching.
Tax versus license. We will going to identify the difference between tax and license. So tax. Tax as a broader subject than license. Tax emanated from taxation power imposed upon any object, such as persons, properties, or privilege to raise revenues. Taxes are imposed after the commencement of business or profession. Tax is post-activity imposition. So license. License fee emanates from police power and imposed to regulate the exercise of privilege, such as the commencement of a business or a profession. License fee is imposed before engagement in those activities. License is pre-activity imposition. The difference between the tax and license is that the tax is more broader than the license. The difference between the two of them is on the source of its power, which is the tax emanates the power from the government to tax, while the license fee, that's why they give a license fee permit, it's because they want to regulate the certain activity, and it's an exercise by the police power. So you can't start a business if you don't have a permit. So it's important to have a permit. You can't practice a profession if you don't have a permit. That's why you really need to have a permit in order for you to practice that.
Good evening, my name is Jessie Galvez, and now I will discuss about the tax and revenue. Revenue is the receipt of the government in a wood. Whatever a government receives from a receivable sector, the aggregate of all those over a period of time is known as revenue. Tax is a duty imposed on a citizen by its government. Tax is just a charge, not a collection, because When it is collected, it becomes revenue. Tax are a voluntary fees levied on individuals and corporations to finance government activities. Tax revenue is an income gained by the government through taxation. Tax revenue is defined as the revenue collected from tax on income and profits contributions, tax levied on goods and services, payroll tax, tax on the ownership and transfer of property, and other taxes. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Chinaida Dulay. So now let me discuss first the tax versus tariff. So a tax may refer to as a state power, a process, as a mode of cost of distribution. So now, what is a tariff? A tariff is a tax imposed by a government on goods and services imported from other countries that serves to increase the price and make imports less desirable or at less competitive versus domestic goods and services. Tariffs are generally introduced as a means of restricting trade from particular countries or reducing the importation of specific types of goods and services. So now, the main difference between tax and tariff is that the tax is a method to impose financial charge or other levy upon a taxpayer by a government or functional equivalent, and the tariff is a tax on the import or export between sovereign states. So for example, to discourage the purchase of Italian leather handbags, the US government could introduce a tariff of 50% that drives the purchase price of those bags so high that domestic alternatives are much more affordable. The government's hope is that the added cost will make imported goods much less desirable.
Hello, my topic for today is all about the tax versus penalties. So each of the product we consume each day has a tax, and the purpose of the tax is use the government project like schools, hospitals, like that. So we will if the tax did not pay at the due date, they have a civil penalties. There shall be imposed addition to the tax required to pay the penalty equivalent to 25% of the tax you pay.